Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're joining us from. I believe this is a global team for the Luo community in Kenya and the Global Alliance for Sustainability in Education. Why? Because we are collaborating to bring a difference in Luo Kenya and also bringing people from the diaspora to come to back home to make a difference. It is my greatest honor and deepest gratitude to welcome each one of you to this special Zoom session on biodiversity and ecocultural heritage, regenerative infrastructure development for peace, and ecological preservation of our heritage sites. So this is, what can I call it? This is a moment where we want to talk about revolution. We want to talk about regenerating. We want to talk about sustainability and many more. And so before we continue, allow me to request Jared Jaoko to commit us before the Lord in prayer. Jared, please unmute yourself and pray for us. Jared, are you there? Please unmute yourself. Wow, nice to see you guys. What? You have something like mine. Oh, let me remove my, so that you can see my background. Let me remove my, this is interesting. Look, look what I have.
I can't see it.
Jan, you can see?
No, hold on, you've changed my name yet. I see your picture, but not your background.
Oh,
I'm using
sorry.
Artie's Zoom at the moment. I never clicked out of it yet, but
Okay. Oh, sorry. I have not put my, okay. Yeah. I wanted you to see that.
okay,
That you
yeah.
love Africa.
Yeah, it's
This
Artie's
is
Oppas actually, and then the other one beside it is the Scottish Highland cows. A bit
Yeah,
of both.
that is good. So, Jared, are you there? Please unmute yourself and pray for us. Tony, if Jared is not able to pray for us, please go ahead and pray.
Okay, let's pray.
Yeah.
Father above, we are really happy. Thank you for this day, Almighty Lord. If you see we want to discuss our agendas here, oh Lord, may you make the meeting to be so successful. I shorten my prayer through Jesus Christ.
Amen.
Amen.
Wow, thank you so much. Well, welcome, John. Welcome, Arthur. I saw somebody else who is very new here. And everybody who is new to this forum, you're welcome. Well, this is a threshold. It's not just a meeting, because it is a crossing point where we stand as a community of visionaries, elders, thinkers, innovators, educators, and guardians of our heritage, ready to ask several questions. And some of these questions include, where do we want to become? Where do we want to move to? What do we want to become, as in when we are together? What do we wish to regenerate together? And what legacy do we want to leave for generations that are yet unborn? So tonight we are going to talk about preserving culture for the sake of nostalgia. We are talking about culture as a living strategy for survival, as a regenerative force, as a peacemaker. At the center, we are basically looking at how best we can promote peace through culture. Because peace is not only the absence of war, peace is also the absence of justice, ecological balance, and community dignity. Our heritage sites, our stories, our songs, our food, our languages, our spiritual spaces, and many more. These are more than monuments of history because in most instances, people use them as just monuments. But we are talking about all these in a different perspective. They are templates of wisdom for rebuilding our economies, our social fabric, and our relationships to the earth itself. Remember, when we are talking about sustainability, there is no way we can leave the planet Earth aside because the planet Earth makes us one. The planet Earth gives us life. Through the lens of education for sustainable development, we are here to build an ecosystem of learning, an ecosystem of sharing, training, and acting. Because it is not enough to talk about change. It is not enough to talk about let's change, let's transform. That is not enough. We must train for change. We must purpose to build the capacities of people that we serve as leaders so that we can see this change coming. We must design the change. We must design ourselves ready for the change. We must finance, remember, and organize for change. Because we don't just want to talk about things that will not be done. We are talking about things that will involve us all around, economically, socially, environmentally, to ensure that they are being accomplished. This gathering is proof that across the world, from Kenya to Canada to South Africa to US to Colombia to everywhere, from the UK to Uganda, there is a shared heartbeat, a shared longing to protect what is sacred, a shared readiness to put culture, to put the environment and the people before profits. It's not about what is in it for me. It's about what is in it for us. So today I ask each one of you to listen with your head, your heart, and your hands. Speak with wisdom and also build with your hands. It's very, very important. Let's go beyond intention. Let's go further and implement what we are talking about online. Let us go beyond dreams. Let us start designing things. Let us go beyond heritage to regenerative futures. Because now we are moving from the era of the sustainable development goals to another era that will require us to be regenerative. So welcome to this transformative conversation. Let us proceed together and let us do so with courage. Let us do so with hope and the unstoppable spirit of unity. And so I want to invite my friend and colleague, Leod Harford, to tell us more about what is it that we are talking about when it comes to unity, when it comes to biodiversity and regenerative infrastructure development for peace and ecological preservation of our heritage sites. Welcome, Leod. Then you will maybe invite the philosopher because I hadn't seen him. I've just seen him right now. Yeah.
Thank you, Christine. Actually, we are in Canada, and so typically what I do when we start our meetings in the UnityNet Zoom calls, and I've neglected to do this in past meetings, but I think it's appropriate here, is to acknowledge those who came before us on this land. And so we do say a land acknowledgement. To say we begin today by acknowledging that we walk upon the traditional territories of Indigenous peoples and recognize their history, spirituality, culture, and stewardship of the land. We're grateful to all Indigenous groups for their commitment to protect the land and its resources, and we are committed to reconciliation, partnership, and enhanced understanding. We acknowledge the land we're meeting on here in the Greater Toronto Area, where I am, is the traditional territory of many nations on the land known as Tikaranto, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Wendat, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, the Anishinaabe, and the Métis peoples, and is now home to many diverse peoples. We'd like to acknowledge the land we are on as at the meeting place of two treaties, the lands of the Mississaugas of the Credit and those of the First Nations of the Williams Treaty. We also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 and is subject to the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Belt Covenant, an agreement between the Anishinaabe and Haudenosaunee that bound them to share the territory and protect the land. We also acknowledge the Two-Row Wampum Belt Covenant, an agreement between the Six Nations of the Tikaranto watershed and the settlers, an agreement that bound them to work together, but to develop their societies in parallel on these shared lands. In our role as settlers and displaced people on this land, we share the responsibility of challenging and disrupting colonial systems that enact violence upon the land and stand in solidarity with Indigenous peoples. We'd also like to thank the Indigenous peoples of these lands, including the First Nations, Inuit, and Métis, for sharing this land with us. We also acknowledge and recognize all of the world's Indigenous peoples as stewards of Mother Earth. And I think that fits well as an opening for our discussions, in particular with the Luo people of Kenya. And so I did go out yesterday, and I met Dr. Christine yesterday at the KCO barbecue, the 2025 event in London, Ontario, at I forget the name of the park right now. But it was a fantastic event. We had some wonderful discussions about the possibility of moving forward. I did also meet a gentleman by the name of Japeth Ogutu, who is also Luo, and was invited to meet them again on Monday, along with the mayor of the city of Markham. So I haven't confirmed that yet, but he did mention the Canada-Africa Business Summit coming next week from Wednesday to Friday in the city of Brampton at the Pearson Convention Center. He said there will be legislators from Nigeria, Kenya, and Cameroon there, along with the Canadian Black Chamber of Commerce. So I'm going to put in a little bit of information into the chat about that business summit. That is, there's a website there I put. And so I have been told, however, by one of our colleagues, Alistair in Toronto, that we have to be cautious with the Canadian Black Chamber of Commerce, potentially not to be trusted in, I guess, how they do business. So just a little bit of a heads up on that. So apparently the Canada-Africa Business Summit summary as a high-level in-person gathering designed to foster stronger trade, investment, and innovation partnerships between Canada and African nations, convenes public and private sector leaders, entrepreneurs, investors, and civil society partners who are shaping the future of sustainable development through bilateral collaboration, aiming to strengthen economic cooperation, sustainable development between Canada and Africa, promote inclusive investment frameworks and public-private partnerships, build infrastructure for trade, technology, agribusiness, mining, energy, education and green economy initiatives, and center voices from both the diaspora and Indigenous communities in Canada and Africa, with the key themes and tracks being sustainable infrastructure and green energy, digital innovation and smart cities, agribusiness, food security, land regeneration, youth and women entrepreneurship, Canada-Africa trade and investment frameworks, diaspora investment and community economic development, with some key featured speakers, including the Honorable Ahmed Hussein, the Minister of International Development for the Government of Canada, where he's going to be focusing on advanced equitable partnerships with Africa through Canadian aid, investment, and diaspora engagement, with the Ambassador Dr. Amina Mohammed, former Minister of Foreign Affairs and Education for Kenya, diplomatic leader and international legal expert advocating for multilateral development and education partnerships, Dr. Vera Songwe, Chair of Liquidity and Sustainability Facility and former Executive Secretary of UNECA, an economist and global finance leader focusing on development financing in Africa, Patricia Scotland, Secretary General of the Commonwealth of Nations, has also been invited. She works to promote equitable development and climate resilience across the Commonwealth nations. Mr. Isaac Olawolafe Jr., founder of Dream Legacy Foundation and BKR Capital, a leading Canadian Nigerian investor and venture capitalist focusing on Black entrepreneurship and tech inclusion. Mr. Mondo Kagonyera, the Chancellor Emeritus of Makerere University, being a key advocate for higher education, innovation ecosystems, and Canada-Africa academic cooperation. Mr. Akintoye Akindele, the chairman of the organization called Platform Capital in Nigeria, a venture capitalist and philanthropist investing across education, energy, and healthcare sectors, along with Ms. Naki Osutei, the VP of Social Impact at TD Bank, known for working in equity-centered banking and supporting Black and Indigenous entrepreneurs in Canada. So they also have target participants being African heads of state, ministers, and trade envoys, Canadian government and provincial trade delegates, African and Canadian investors, tech companies, agripreneurs, and clean energy firms, along with Indigenous and African diaspora community leaders, youth and women entrepreneurs, development banks, and international NGOs. Their format is basically a plenary panel and keynotes with roundtable discussions and networking forums for investment matchmaking, exhibition space for companies, projects, and service providers, cultural showcases, and receptions. This is being organized by the Canada-Africa Chamber of Business, the Africa Trade Desk, the Pan-African Canadian Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Canada's Black Entrepreneurship Knowledge Hub, and government sponsors and corporate partners. So their technology session, the B2B meetings on Friday, including a tour. I have also been invited to, again, I have not confirmed whether I will be able to go, and I don't have any details yet, but this is being done with the Kenyan Association of Manufacturers CEO, who will also be there. And I can put that link in as well in the chat for the record. So this is, again, the association is serving a comprehensive platform of industries in Kenya with the goal of enhancing global competitiveness for Kenyan industries, which was established in 1959, actually. CAM functions as the collective voice for businesses across various manufacturing value-added industries in Kenya, with their core mandate to address policy, represent and advocate for manufacturers' interests in policy formulation and trade and investment promotion. They also do standards and business environment facilitation. along with a number of other things. So there's also, I met somebody there from an organization called Nomad Community Services. And so they are actually in Brampton, which seems to be where the event is also taking place. They had their headquarters at 350 Rutherford Road South. And so, again, that information is in the chat if anybody would like to look that up or knows of them. So basically what I'm doing, or what I did already last night, is put together a little bit of a presentation script on what I would like to present if we will be meeting the mayor on Monday, and indicating that I represent UnityNet, FAU BIPOCA Alliance Canada, part of the Global Federation. We're here with the simple and transformative idea that regenerative infrastructure, when guided by community, culture, and peace, can become the foundation for security and prosperity in every city, watershed, and bioregion on Earth. So inviting mayors and local leaders to join a global alliance starting here in Canada and across Africa with our partners to implement practical, scalable, and income-generating solutions. And so the idea being beginning to implement things like climate smart kitchens, zero emission farms, along with the teams and systems and infrastructure, community unity gardens and learning forests, possibly including with some advanced controlled environment systems, story pods with rocking chair circles that support youth storytelling, intergenerational learning, and reconciliation, together with the symbols of peace in each of these gardens, the Indigenous unity flags, the peace poles, and the trees of peace and reconciliation. So working with each local community to provide tools and templates to assist them in launching their own watershed peace councils, multi-stakeholder teams to provide tools and templates that will assist them in launching their own watershed peace councils, these multi-stakeholder teams that include mayors, tribal leaders, local innovators, and grassroots community members, designed to build trust, to co-create locally relevant regenerative solutions, and prepare cities, towns, and other communities to access new financing streams like carbon credits and climate smart tourism, and become investment ready for the post-2030 regenerative development era. So working with partners like the Federation of Canadian Municipalities, Rotary International, the Foundation for Building Sustainable Communities, the IEEE Smart Village Program, the Global Center for Pluralism, and building a network of pilot cities. With the pitch to the mayors essentially being your city could be one of them. And we had that conversation yesterday in London, and I indicated there is an investment right now for the city of Windsor. We would like to establish such peace cities, unity peace communities all across Canada with our partners, especially the Indigenous people of Canada, plus the diaspora communities across the country, especially the African diaspora, along with the Indigenous peoples and the peoples of color in all our local communities, working together to position our cities and our local communities as models of peace, prosperity, and regeneration for the whole world to follow. So we're going to be inviting them to join us to establish what we call systems of foundational security delivered through community-rooted infrastructure, emphasizing the mayors and trusted local delivery agents who are living closest to the people, highlighting 3 or 4 innovations, including those climate smart kitchens, the story pods, the zero emission farming, the youth peace gardens and forests, the symbols of peace, the unity, the Indigenous unity flags, the trees of peace and reconciliation, the rocking chair circles, and working with grassroots, or as we call them, tree roots networks, the mayors, along with the chambers of commerce and the local grassroots community members. So this is our chance, I think, to lead by example, to showcase peace and regeneration of our communities, ourselves, of the earth, starting locally with each of us. So that's my basic introduction. So thank you. And I think I was asked to introduce Ambassador Philosopher Dr. Johan Makadual. You'll need to unmute.
Hello. Yes. Hey, hello, to all of us. This is Ambassador Philosopher Dr. Odhiambo Makadual, the Global Coordinator of Luo Community Development Society Worldwide Movement. I thank you, our partner from Canada, Mr. Lloyd Elfati, and the team, and we have addressed us accordingly. But we are here today as Luo Community Development Society Worldwide Organization with the partners across the board from all the countries, because we gather here on the 29th June 2025 as Luo Community Nation through LUCODE Society Worldwide Movement with all our local and international green culture and eco-heritage regenerative infrastructure development partners led by Mr. Lloyd Elfati and other teams to ignite education for sustainable development through Luo biodiversity, green cultural, and eco-heritage development initiatives to drive peace and coexistence among the Luo Nation and the neighbors in Kenya, and to be emulated in African countries respectively. We appreciate the collective efforts of the Luo people from all walks to accept the value their culture in unity, to reclaim and restore their heritage, preserve culture, conserve historical sacred places, own and manage their natural resources, while inspiring inclusive growth. This journey is not just a mere individual personal interest gain, but it is the undertaking which is guided by spiritual ignition, by the intangible atomized energies of the orders of the universe and the Mother Earth, to reorganize the earth and make the indigenous people of Luo Nation to reclaim their communal sovereignty, authentic powers that we own as a people, lead ourselves and own our own ancestral wealth, and realized their own pride as our pride, provided by nature law, protocols, conventions, policies, and laws that recognize and promote indigenous knowledge of the Luo Nation worldwide through education for sustainable development, as we are doing today here. We as Luo Nation, we recognize this spiritual interconnectedness through biblical teachings as follows. Jeremiah 23 verse 3 to 4. In these verses, it is written, I will gather remnants of my flock out of all countries where I have driven them, and bring them back to the pasture. They shall fruitfully be a good number in the countries. I will set shepherd over them, and they shall fear no more, nor be dismayed, nor shall they be lacking anything in their life, says the Lord to the Luo Nation. This goes with our gatherings here today, and that we generally do every Sunday, promoting Luo education for sustainable development, because we, LUCODE society worldwide, we recognize that God blesses those who teach others knowledge and share wisdom with people, as written in different books in the Bible, including 2 Timothy 2 verses 2 says this. In this First Timothy was to entrust what he had learned to faithful men like you people gathering here today. You are faithful men to the Luo people, who will be able to teach others as well. So from our gathering here, we will be able to teach others, showing the importance of sharing and passing this kind of noble knowledge in our groups. Daniel 12 verses 3, the Bible in this verse speaks of those who are wise, like you people. You gather here, you are very wise people. And those who instruct many, like Mr. Lloyd Helfati has instructed us to do right things in the world, being rewarded by God. So we shall be rewarded, you will be rewarded, suggesting that education as we do it today and sharing wisdom as we do it today are pleasing to the Supreme Being in the nation. As a community transformers who are gathered here today, we ought to understand that the Bible emphasizes the importance of teaching, educating, and sharing knowledge as blessings and rewards from God. The book of Proverbs contains many verses encouraging wisdom and instruction as we do it here today. Proverbs 16 verses 3 says, commit to the Lord whatever you do. As you are here, commit all what has brought you here to your God and to our God, for he will establish your plans. So God will establish this plan we have put before us here today. Proverbs 19 verses 21 says this, many are plans in a person's heart, but it is the Lord's purpose that prevails. As we sit here as LUCODE society worldwide with our international partners, it is our plan, yes, but the Lord of God of the Luo nations will prevail upon what we are discussing today and what we are going to prevail to our governments in Kenya and in the donor nations and our investors. Proverbs 22 verses 7 says this, the rich rule over the poor, and the borrower is slave to the lender. The Luo people, for so many years, for your information, we have been ruled because we are poor. We have been ruled because we cannot organize ourselves. We have been ruled because we cannot speak as a people in unity. We have been ruled because we cannot establish the core value of the sources of our economic development and sustainability. This has made us to be beggars of the lenders for so many years that we have gotten lost in our mindset that politics is the only way to make the Luo people rich. That has been a misleading perception. Time has come, as you have heard, that God has prepared his mission before us, the Luo people, that he is going to consolidate us here in Kenya, in Africa, and abroad. For your information, the Luos are scattered all over In Canada, where Mr. Lloyd Elfert is, we have the Luo community. Ottawa is one of the Luo tribes in Canada. There are other tribes in Canada called Oji. Oji is a Luo term. And then there are some others called Oji Birewa. This means that we are scattered all over, that we cannot consolidate ourselves to empower ourselves. This is education for sustainable development in a long perspective, in partnership with our governments. We have agreed with our county governments that we are going to work together in Kenya. And those are our county governments, include Siaya County Government, include Kisumu County Government, include Migori County Government, and include Homa Bay County Government. Why? Because we want to regain and restore our sovereignty as a Luo people. Our sovereignty gives us the pride to plan for the development and conservation of our heritage sites which we have lost. Remember this, in Kisumu County, we have a heritage site which has never been recognized by even the government of Kisumu. But we instinctively, spiritually, we have recognized that site. This is a site that when in the Bible, some people were building a long story to go to the heaven. That story building which was being built to go to the heaven is here in Kenya at Songo. Songo, we have a historical site called the Fallen Mother Earth Universe God's Temple. If you go to Songo, there's a place where people were building their temples which God. Then God became furious and fallen that temple. And when he fallen that temple, he went and reached at a place where today there is water in that place, which is sweeter than this drink called Sprite, the Sprite soda. These are God-given resources that we need to ignite in ourselves, because UNESCO are there to promote this development globally. For now, that's why we are here, to develop our country and own our heritage. For instance, Lake Victoria is our main resource. This Lake Victoria has been misused for so many years. It is our heritage. We want to get back Lake Victoria and be the manager of Lake Victoria with all its beaches, with all its biodiversity, with all its spiritual connections at the beaches and in the highlands. Those are God-given resources that we are sleeping like a people lost in the wilderness. Why should we get lost? And we are here to develop our nation. We are here to interact as a people. We are here now to educate. In this group, we hope and we are willing that everybody will come out with activities agenda to grow our community into a wealthy community. From there, Dr. Sewe, the Secretary General, may you address the congregation. Dr. Sewe.
Thank you very much, Daktari. I'm here this evening just to address the congregation, and I'm very, very glad. Although right now I'm in western part of Kenya, and I say asanteni sana, good morning, good evening, whenever you are. This is Dr. Sewe. I just want to give a special thanks to our visitors today who have just arrived. And although I came late due to some problems, but I'm around. I just want to say it is with great honor and humility that I stand and say today the problem we are facing in our cultural heritage, as Mr. Daktari Ambassador Philosopher Dual have just echoed, is that we need a proper recognition, and our noble mission of preserving our past, our healing, our present, and regenerating a future built on peace. Peace is a must. Peace must prevail in all our endeavors. If we miss peace, there's nothing we are going to do. And ecological harmony. Today, our theme of regenerating biodiversity and cultural heritage, pathways to peace, ecological infrastructure, and the preservation is a special sign of saying that the Luo community, wherever they are now waking up. It is a new dawn for them, and they should be reminded that our cultural identity is deeply intertwined with the land, the waters, the forest, the language, and the stories of our people. We meet at this time we are meeting is a time when climate change, conflict, and modernization threatened not only our natural ecosystem, but also the rich cultural traditions that have sustained our communities for generations. Scared groups, traditional shrines, as Mr. Duol have just echoed in Songo. It is a very wonderful place. I went there one time and I saw it. It's a very wonderful place, but it has been forgotten. The indigenous medicine, the indigenous knowledge, our ancestral knowledge are vanishing. Yet within this lies the wisdom we need for our generation. As I said last week, our ancestors did not go to the universities, did not attend even the basic education, but they have their own norm and their own tradition of knowing things. Today, the climate change, the trees we used to read about climate change have already vanished in our forests. They are not there. That's why, as LUCODE, we are coming in to look into all these issues so that we can have our traditional trees, the indigenous trees, which used to bring us rain. Today, the climate change, it's a global international threat from all over the world. Now, you may find that when the G7 countries are going to meet in the United States and New York and all other places, and certain organizations like UNDP, why can't they recognize the tradition? Let us come to Kenya, take all the traditional tribes, go there, let us document all these things, and then we come up with a solution, how we can go about the climate change. Today, as we speak, the Western countries are the main contributors to climate change factors because they are the people who have got a lot of industries, and that pollution of those machines which are being used and the smoke which is coming from the Western industries are really deteriorating our rivers, our oceans and lakes. Today, as we speak, there are so many people in the world who are suffering different diseases, skin cancer, lung cancer, radiation, high radiation, which has caused a lot of skin problems. And our international governments and the G7 and the G20 countries are really, really quiet about this. Now, let us remember and let us preserve biodiversity. Is not just a scientific obligation. It is a moral responsibility. Similarly, protecting our cultural heritage is not about looking backward. It is about empowering the future with identity, beginning, and the purpose. We must have a purpose for that. As I've just heard my friend talking about it, across our counties, the 4 counties we have, the Siaya, Homa Bay, Migori, and Kisumu, even the county governments are so quiet about our preserving our heritage sites. As we speak today, in the whole of Nyanza, we have around 30 to 40 historical sites. Together, we must build ecological infrastructure, not just roads and buildings, but systems that support sustainable agriculture, clean water, resilient forests, and knowledge sharing platforms that connect generations. Let us commit ourselves today as we come together with our international partners to recognize these scarred cultural heritage sites as national treasures, deserving full protection and investment. We must approach our national government and the county governments so that we can come with a proper strategic blueprint paper which can move us forward. Number two, we must integrate the international ecological knowledge into national knowledge plans, and this one must be done. To create community-based peace models grounded in our cultural values and ethics. And lastly, to complete, let us say that we must build partnership as our partners have just come together, and the sustainable funding. We must sustain our indigenous knowledge through funding, and we must do some documentation in this. In conclusion, I urge all of us to walk away from today, not just inspired, but activated. Let us today be the spark that lights a regional and national movement to cultural, renewable, and ecological justice. Together, we are not just preserving our past, we are regenerating the future. Now, I want to urge our development partners to come together, acknowledge and dedicate what we have been talking about and the past. The future will be bright and the past will be forgotten. So our heritage is not just a past, it is a future of tomorrow. And I want to thank all of you who have been listening to me. For those who have just arrived now, this is Dr. Sewe, the General Secretary, LUCODE Society. Thank you very much, Madam Ambassador, for giving us your ears, and let me stop there. Asante sana.
It's very wonderful. It's very wonderful.
Asante sana.
Erokamano Secretary General, Mr. Dr. Sewe. Actually, LUCODE Society worldwide is a spiritually growing organization, and we are not here because we are here as human beings. We are connected here spiritually, and we are going to be grown spiritually, that any politician, that any individual, that any government will not be able to distort and dismantle this process. This is a restoration of the God's people, as Dr. Sewe has mentioned it, that we are going to realign ourselves to growth. Allow me to welcome Mr. Osborne Otieno Abiero. I've seen you inside. Madam Flores, we have seen you inside. Tony Omondi, you are inside. Data Peacock Dau, you are inside. Lobda Dajani, you are inside. Tony Omondi, you are inside. Moses Talia, we have seen you. Cardinal Komenya, you are there, the organizing secretary. Mamati Brian, we have seen you there. Adiambo Lucy, you are feel comfortable. Enoch feel comfortable. Geoffrey Kodila feel comfortable. Amimo Kamimo feel comfortable. And the rest feel comfortable. May I welcome, before I bring in the organizing secretary, Madam Lubna Dajani. May you have a word in partnership. Madam Lubna Dajani.
Hello. Thank you for the opportunity to contribute, and thank you for all your work. Forgive me. I had to step away for a second before I heard my name. I was called by my mother. My nephew is in the hospital. So please, if you just ask me what is, repeat for me what is if the question or what am I asked to comment on? Apologies. I had to step away from my laptop, from my Zoom. My nephew is in the emergency room. So I'd appreciate your prayers. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes. Proceed.
So I just wanted to catch up on the topic because I had stepped away from Zoom. So I just came back and you were saying my name.
Proceed. You are okay. You are fine.
Did you want me to proceed with introducing myself or introducing the work or what in particular? So I don't.
We are seeing you.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm Lubna Dajani. I'm a polymath, futurist, digital strategist, and AI ethics expert, as well as embedded security, digital identity. And I've dedicated my whole career has been on the impact of information communication technology on human evolution. My interest is to apply technology to improve and elevate the everyday experiences. But for the last 8 years, a significant percent, if not more than full-time of my time has been dedicated to philanthropic work and to nurturing, coaching, and in many ways, I feel I have more children that have adopted me as a mom than my two natural born daughters. Grateful to be here. So I do a lot of work with, I'm published on human machine teaming. I've peer reviewed technical papers on human rights in the context of human machine teaming. And the thesis of my manifesto, what was published in 2014, discusses a future, which is today, where everyone and everything and every place are connected, addressable, where data is critical to your well-being, and the health of your digital health has a great impact on your physical well-being. I'm happy to talk to any of you, support any of you in any of these activities or in your thinking through digitization, decentralization, decarbonization, and ethical use of impactful technologies.
So actually, Lubna,
Yes, sir.
I'd very much like to talk with you more about what we call our WINELTO project within
Great.
the UnityNet infrastructure. We have a project concept not yet executed. The WINELTO actually is an acronym meaning we need to listen to each other. And the concept is to engage with especially Indigenous people, elders, and others in the community at what we call our story pods in all of the youth peace gardens and forests across the lands, especially, again, Indigenous communities around the world. And utilize AI, artificial intelligence, to record their stories and train the AI in ethical decision making.
Yeah, I would love to, not to interrupt, but this is really exciting. I was just, as I spoke last year at SOCAP, the Social Capital, it's a conference, and of all the other sessions, what resonated with me the most was the Indigenous panels and Indigenous data rights. So I would, for me, it's so important that we celebrate our Indigenous roots and cultures, and celebrate by sharing, so that we can know each other better. But it was fascinating to listen to some of the tribal leaders speak about AI, and particularly about their views on their indigenous wisdom and indigenous medicine. And they almost feel like they want for it to die with them because it's been so misused, and there's a significant that we also have at IEEE some standards that we're working on relative to indigenous data rights.
Okay, so you're also with the IEEE as well.
Yes, I'm a senior member, as in a senior because
Yeah.
I mean, are you an IEEE member?
No, but do you know Joan Kerr from the Foundation for Building Sustainable Communities? She's here in Canada in Oshawa. So she's been working with the IEEE Rotary Smart Villages programs. So she was actually the inspiration for me to develop these community unity garden learning centers. So the gardens and forests as learning centers in local communities, and we were the ones that came in and said in each of these unity garden learning forests, as the gardens and forests, we should also be placing these story pods where we can record the indigenous voices and stories to train the AI in ethics. So this is actually our primary project and what we would like to work with the team here in actually implementing for real in all local communities around.
Well, I would love for us to connect on this more and to speak. I'd be happy to come to Canada tomorrow.
Well,
No,
where
really,
are you located, by the way?
I'm in New York.
Okay, so it's not too far.
No, I was just in Victoria briefly, also on the West Coast. So it's not an issue. This work is really essential, and it's like I think it's the most important.
So I would actually like to suggest that we might be able to meet actually at the at a certain place, perhaps in Ottawa or in Toronto. So I'm in north of Toronto, but in Ottawa there is an organization, I don't know if you know about it, called the Global Center for Pluralism.
Oh.
So the Global Center for Pluralism was actually founded by the Aga Khan.
Wow.
And so the Aga Khan has their own Aga Khan development network globally, and we are hoping to be working with them on this project as well. But the Aga Khan created the Global Center for Pluralism, and they have an MOU with the Government of Canada to leverage development funding and other development initiatives. So we're hoping that we can work with the Indigenous peoples of Canada and North America and Turtle Island, essentially, as well as the Indigenous peoples of the world, to begin to implement these projects in partnership with the Aga Khan Development Network, to ground the ethics into the AI systems that we use, especially for our communities around the world, as a means of facilitating their rapid development and accelerating that transition.
Yeah.
Communities.
Look, I would be very, very happy to. It would be an answer to a prayer. I almost feel guilty because I have worked so hard my entire career on the bridging of the different industries that had to come together. And I worked on, when I used to be more hands-on, I developed AI systems, early decision supports in the earlier days. I mean, AI is about 80 years old, so I was about 30 years ago in this space. But it is very essential, and it's very rapid moving, and people don't realize that it's an exponential change. And it's when we talk about ethics, I always ask, whose ethics are we talking about anyway? And we need to take a very, very, very hard look in the mirror, because it's not just that, about who we are and what message are we If we stepped outside of ourselves and we were observing ourselves, what message would we get?
Yeah, if we were an alien
ourselves,
entity,
like watching.
right?
Exactly. Like we're not human at all. We have nothing to do with Earth, no commercial benefit. And we watch humans and how we interact with each other. Do we come across as we value life, as we value each
No,
other, as we
not at
value the
all.
planet? No, we value things that things that
Right?
we've created that are meaningless in comparison to and are substandard.
Yeah.
And we value life at all, not to near nothing of human life or any other life for that matter.
Yeah, it's true. That's why we're destroying our planet and biodiversity
at scale. And the AI is only going to accelerate that, or if we develop it to be very conscientious, it'll just aim to strike us. But it might be an even kinder striking than we are doing to each other, but that's another story.
Fine. Now, we indigenous in Kenya, we also wish to use our heritage sites to incorporate the. Hello.
Yeah,
yes?
We're hearing you.
You are hearing me?
Yes.
Yes. We are saying LUCODE society in Kenya has a program that will incorporate the wisdom of cultural medicine, which are free from chemicals, and we, in consultation with our spiritual powers within our community, and conserving the heritage forests, we would wish to have partners that we would invest in processing the medicinal products and give to strengthen the lives of the community, because we have a number of trees, a number of plants, a number of natural resources that are actually incompatible to produce the best medical supplements or alternative medicines to sustain the community for a better health care. So if we could also, and they will also be documented, and within the documentation, we shall be creating centers for medical, traditional medical learning in heritage sites in the country. So, Madam Lubini and our partner, Mr. Lloyd, I think you can help us to come up with the investors that can come in to invest because we have natural resources enough. Now, from there again, kindly allow me to bring in Cardinal Komenya to have a word to the meeting. Cardinal Komenya, can you hear me?
Yes. Do you hear me?
Yes.
Hello?
Okay,
thank you. For those people are here, I, Cardinal Elias Komenya. I'm the organizing secretary for LUCODE. But I have only sought or to my opinion after I share the same with the members of the LUCODE at the lower level. Because if you go through our constitution in Kenya, the preamble paragraph 3 said, be proud with your ethnicity, culture, and religions. Yeah. And now we talk about the culture. How we can implement or sensitize people on this. The first step, I can request our partners, include we ourselves, to come up with purely and fully civic education, to educate our people at the lower level and do our education per ward or per villages. We form a LUCODE Civic Education and Engagement Committee. And this team, after understand why we need to maintain peace, we have the linkage program to link the government, especially security officers, and the community to maintain the peace in the community. Without peace, I want to assure you, everything we need not proceed. But I want to thank our partner, Mr. Kleos, for talk about the success story. How LUCODE will have success story. Not only talking, not only to provide support. No, we need to educate our people. And the success story will come from the grassroots level, where out of 165 wards in 4 counties, that is Siaya, Kisumu, Migori, and Homa Bay, you can go there and meet with a woman from the village and talk about the LUCODE and talk about the importance for peace. Without peace, no development. Secondly, we as Luo community, how we can educate our people to know without economic, because we have many people, but some of them said we need power, political power. But I want to assure, and I'm sure, nobody can have political power and said help their community, but only economic power. And how we get the economic power is only 3 organs. Organs 1, the farming. And in Luo community land, we have enough, and the soil, what Luo community living, I think is the best for farming. 2, manufacturers. Without manufacturers, you cannot say you have economic power. And the last one, business. How our people. And that is why me, myself, through my experience, we empower youth, some youths and women and people living with disability through the civic education to empower them how they can come up with the S4T program in the lower community. What is the S4T? S4T stands for Saving for Transformation. That is my suggestion. And if good, the next time, how we can come up with a time frame to say we want to start to engage our people in the lower level. Thank you, and God bless you all.
Wonderful, wonderful. Organizing Secretary has talked over awakening the community to from lower level villages and transforming them into a better society and empowering them to be economically sustainable people. And from there, the Organizing Secretary is saying politics can follow. But before that is done, you are a dreamer in politics. Congratulations, Mr. Organizer. Amimo Kamimo, how are you? Come in.
Yes, hello.
Yes.
I hope you are hearing me loud and clear.
Proceed.
Yes, for this, I'm happy to have joined this forum. And first of all, I want to apologize that I've arrived a bit late. I informed you that I had
Sorry,
some
sorry.
series of meetings which I had to. I hope you are getting me loud and clear.
Yes.
Yes. First of all, allow me to apologize for coming in a bit late. I had some meetings. I talked with the ambassador, chatted the ambassador about those meetings, and I had to create the time for this special Zoom meeting. First of all, let me introduce myself. I'm called Michael Amimo, better known as Amimo Kamimo. Amimo Kamimo comes from Kisumu County, Nyando sub-county, Kadibo sub-county, Nyando constituency, Kobura ward. Currently, I'm in Kapsabet. I'm doing my businesses in Kapsabet. Apart from that, Amimo Kamimo is also a politician. Currently, I am the coordinator of Safina Party Western Region, which combines the former Nyanza province, the former Western province, and even part of Rift Valley. I've heard of what our organizing secretary has said, and I want to applaud him for such powerful comments. One thing I have to make it clear is that our people are already liberated democratically. You remember we had in 1963, we had a fight so that we get our internal rule. After the internal rule, we had a challenge of that we didn't have democracy. That is why come 1990s, early 90s, we had all parties calling themselves democracy. They have D for democracy. We realized that we don't have democracy. So at the moment where we have reached, we are already united. That was why our first period, when we were gaining our independence. Then after unity, we did have democracy. We already have democracy. What our country and even our community lacks right now is called economic empowerment, the liberation of to be economically liberated. It is sad to notice that the 4 counties our organizers just stated, none, and I repeat none, has a factory or a company which can hire even 500 people at a go. Kisumu is a city, but Kisumu itself does not have a factory which employs 1,000 people at a go. Go to Migori County. Each and every county has got something they produce. In Migori, they produce sugarcane, they produce several things, but there's no factory. Come to Homa Bay. Homa Bay is the largest producer of sweet potatoes in the areas like Kabondo. Yet there is no processing factory which need this product. We have the lake. If you take that lake right now, ladies and gentlemen, plant it in Central, within 2 years, everybody will be millionaire. It is wasted. There is no fish processing. And to amaze you, it is our fish which is being used to build towers in Nairobi while they are being processed in Thika. A sack of sweet potatoes cost only 2,000 in Kabondo. The same sack is 6,000 in Mombasa. Where are we heading as a community? Go to Siaya. Siaya has got the best soil for fruit. Go to Akala and Dori area. They are being wasted. We don't have a single factory. So for us to move the Luo forward, me, I'm a politician. I'm talking from a political perspective. What we do as politicians is to make people poorer so that they follow you easily and tell them what they want to hear, not what they should hear. So if we can empower our people, if we can talk to our people, get sense to them. I'm in the Kalenjin land. But they do not, Luo land is richer than Kalenjin land. The only thing Kalenjin land is boasting about is only tea. With us, we have sugarcane, we have fish, we have sweet potatoes, name them. But with them, their tea, they are really, really protecting it. Go to my area where I'm coming from in Ahero. Ahero produces the best sweet rice in Kenya. But what happens after harvesting? The Ugandans come, take it cheaply, take it to Uganda, process it there, then come back and sell it to us, use the rice jam to raise chickens, come back and sell us eggs at a cheaper price. Our people must be liberated economically. Once we liberate our people economically, I tell you, they will no longer follow politicians like blind people, and they will be never misused. It is high time we spread this spell, and I'm happy to be part of this. I'm happy to join the ambassador and the rest. Sorry, I joined late because I never knew this thing existed. But right now, if it is something which the main focus is to liberate our people economically, count me in. But if it was something to sell our people hopes like other politicians do, that is why I'm not here, and I'm not in union, because they are our people. But our agenda as a FINA is to liberate people economically. I better miss a chance of becoming an MCA. I better miss a chance of becoming an MP or even a president, but see our people being liberated economically. Thank you. I'm still in and I'm following at the end.
Amimo Kamimo, you are a real true Luo hero guy, because you are talking a hero word, and we appreciate your economic liberation, as to why Luo community are now engaging the diasporas, including Dr.Christine, our partners, the county governments, and the rest. That is spiritually strong words. We have, oh, Dr. Christine is back. We have Madam Christine. No, not Christine. Madam Florence Musil. Are you there? We can hear Madam Florence.
And then I can also see Leod's hand is up. Maybe he wants to say something before another person.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry, I had that up from earlier because I just wanted to ask people if they're able to save the chat. I am putting information into the chat that could be important to our future discussions as well. So pressing the three little dots and then save chat for the Zoom. I had put up my hand earlier because I wanted to say that I put in information in specifically in regards to the conversation with Lubna around the Winelto Sound and Story Network, and I wanted to put that on record that that's a big part of the work that we're trying to do. So there are details around the Winelto project and the proposal that we would like to do, hopefully working with the Luo community as one of the main actors. Thank you.
If Madam Tony Omondi. Tony Omondi. Tony Omondi.
Okay, thank you very much, philosopher. I'm Tony Omondi from Kenya, from Kisumu County. Currently, I'm still a student at Mama Ngina University. And in Mama Ngina University, I serve as the Secretary General. Mama Ngina University is located in Kiambu County. That one is central part of Kenya. So to me, I have a foundation. I have Tony, by the name Tony Foundation. And this, my foundation, is dealing with the widowers. So my main objective to this foundation, one is to provide emotional and mental health support through peer lead group discussion and counseling. Another objective on my foundation is to reduce social isolation by organizing regular gathering and events. And another one is to promote financial self-sufficient and willingness through skills, training, and health awareness, where I heard there before someone talking about the skills, so that where people can be trained and from the training they can get some employment. And another one is to foster community acceptance and advocacy for the widowers' need. Because currently in our nation, Kenya, the government is dealing more with the widows, and the widowers, they have left them out. So this my foundation, I've sat down and go through the well-being of our nation, and I've seen the widowers have been left out. So I have that program to bring widowers together and help them in providing emotional health and things like mental health support. Another one to my side, I'm also a youth representative in our county, Kisumu. And last week, I invited the philosopher to talk to some of our youth group. So personally, I am glad to be part of the LUCODE, and I'll fully support this program. Thank you.
Thanks, very good. Lisa, nice. Lisa, nice. We welcome you, our partner. Speak.
I have to turn everything on for that. Hello. Shall I introduce myself? My name is Lisa Nisatvan, member 18349 of the International Dance Council Division of UNESCO out of Paris. I'm also the Global Outreach Director for UnityNet International. And of course, there's other titles beyond that. I find people tend to give you lots of titles when you're doing good work because they can't give you pay, which is fine, as far as I'm concerned. My position, of course, is interviewing groups and individuals into this network, part of the network of networks of nonprofits worldwide. It is our goal, now that we have this type of coverage, to follow intake protocols in as many places as we possibly can, so that we can fulfill a promise we made over 160 years ago to help everywhere. And for that to happen, well, we have to increase the number of members in this network of networks. There's 10 million of us so far, but in certain regions, there's those collaboratives aren't there. So we are advising people as to how we got this done over such a long time to restore social and community infrastructures in areas after conflict and the disaster has struck, wiping away pretty much what was there and leaving all sorts of ills behind. So through this process of just my interviewing people on the specifics of what's going on, where they're at, what they're involved in, we can get them into the network, and it's hundreds and hundreds of pages of information relevant to profession, that is practice, the type of domain in which you intervene, information you seek on science, technology, innovation, and different expressions of the Sustainable Development Goals. And of course, running into others in your nation that are also in this program so that you can build those coalitions, make your voices strong, and change policy. Because the network of networks worldwide, that is what we do. And the reason for that, real simple. We count everybody. Our governments don't. If you live and you breathe, you're counted. And this is information that our governments desperately need in their negotiations with, like, the World Bank, International Monetary Fund. Without accurate information, those negotiations don't do well, and the end result is high taxes and tariffs for everyone to pay. So through this type of collaborative infrastructure, we can take the information that only we have, bring it together to make powerful negotiating tools to better our communities, restore infrastructures, make recommendation to our nations as to how to make for a better life, how to be strong again in such a way that we can go out and say, this is what we need, and there are groups who bring it to us. So, oh, I see that, Lloyd. Sorry, typo. That's essentially what it is. I could go and tell you more, but that would take an hour. And I'm sure we have others who need to be introduced. Thank you.
You are back. But this Mr. Dow. Mr. Dow has been here. Mr. Dow, we can hear you. Mr. Dow. Mr. Dow. Yukri Kodila. Yukri Kodila. Yukri Kodila, can you hear? Florence, can you speak? Madam Florence. Madam, wow. Osborne Otieno, can you speak?
Yes, I can speak a bit. Osborne Otieno, as I introduced myself the other time. Osborne Otieno currently is doing research. In fact, I'm very enlightened with what we guys are discussing. You guys are discussing about things that are in Luo Nyanza. Hope you are getting me.
Yes.
Oh, you are not getting me?
You are right.
Oh, we
Proceed. You are clear.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, thank you very much. I'm saying that I'm actually been following the conversations, and one part that is actually getting deep into me is connected with what I'm doing right away. I said I'm doing some research in Luo Nyanza, and my interest is to come out with actually what the community of Luo Nyanza get from cultural heritage centers. Like I've been to Pinyngima in Kindu. I've been working around Gormaya place in Ndewa. I just want to know how to dig deep on what the community knows about this, what they gain, because this very cultural centers are attracting people from all walks of the world, and are the community, are the Luo people getting anything from it? Another thing that I've been working on, as some of you may know about the night runners of Ndewa. They are the renowned night runners, where there is one of them who is calling themselves the international president of the night runners and they are in Ndewa. My study is actually to get to know what actually the other people around, the people in general are getting from it what they know, or how the fact that there are night runners, there are international night runners in there, how this is helping the community. Thank you very much. I will proceed the other time.
Can you allow me to speak now? Hello?
It looks like
Can you allow me to
Ambassador
speak?
Makaduol is frozen, so I would just say go ahead.
I go ahead.
Oh, yes, I've just finished what I was talking about.
Can I speak?
I would say
Please
go
do.
ahead. We lost Mr. Dr. Makaduol.
Yeah, please
This is
speak, please.
This is Mr. Geoffrey Kodela. Mr. Geoffrey Kodela is a Luo elder. I used to sit in the Luo Council of Elders. Unfortunately, we had some issues in 2022 during some election to replace our chairman, who we normally refer to as K. That was in Homa Bay. And there was a slight split, and I'm part of the team that formed the United Luo Elders Forum. Currently, I'm the Director of Culture in the United Luo Elders Forum, and I believe some of our members are in this forum. Briefly, I would want to talk briefly about the Luo Council of Elders, or the organization that brought together the elders of the Luo. The Luo Council of Elders came out of what we initially called Luo Union East Africa, which came into place in 1946. And the Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, who was then 35 years old, became the initial chairman. The main purpose of that initial organization was to look into economic well-being of the community. They did great things. They acquired assets. They even had a registered company called Luo Thrift and Trading Corporation. So when Jaramogi joined politics in 1956, he relinquished the chairmanship and left it to the late William Ouko. And lastly, when Moi came to power in the 80s, in 1978, Paul Mboya Koko was now the chairman, whom we refer to as K. Then there was an organization, a similar organization of the Kikuyus, which was very powerful, called the Gema, and Moi feared it. And automatically after that, he outlawed the tribal societies or tribal groupings. And remember, the Luo Council or the Luo Union East Africa already had assets, including a limited liability company. And when now we came to multipartism, then Moi found himself being fought by the Kikuyus, and he sought assistance of the Luos. Jaramogi came in, started to back him, and later when Jaramogi died, Raila joined him in 1998. And there was a group of elders who convinced Raila to join Moi. And after this joining, when the political party called NDP and the KANU came together, after that, these elders decided now to form what we call the Luo Council of Elders. Now, the initial Luo Union East Africa came as a result of economic well-being of the community. Now, the latest now, the Luo Council of Elders came into being because of political reasons. So we have two communities, we have two organizations who are claiming to be fighting for cultural issues of the community, but one is political, the other one was on economic basis. Now, I've raised this question with the fellow elders. And now we have this team in the Council of Elders aligned to Odungi Randa. We have another team aligned to Nyandiko Ongadi. The one that is aligned to Odungi Randa is aligned to a political party called ODM. The one that is aligned to Nyandiko Ongadi is against where Raila is. So when Raila is fighting against PNU, they're aligned to that. So these are two factions that are aligned to politics. Now, the Luo community on issues of their culture is like now they are orphaned. So I raised one question that we have so many issues that we need to be solved, culturally, or cultural issues that need to be solved among the community. I gave an example that in our community, we have girls, or rather we have ladies who are over 60 years, over 50 years, and they have never been married. And in the process, they have been having sexual intercourse, and they have children. So their children are automatically adults. So you find a woman single, she has not been married, and she has adult children. The son wants to marry. The daughter wants to marry. So the son gets a woman. And in our culture, this woman, dowry has to be paid on the head of this woman. Now, we are all aware that in our culture, you cannot pay bride price to your wife if the same has not been paid in respect of your mother. Same way, if you are a woman, your bride price cannot be paid if the one in respect of your mother had not been paid. And this is a time bomb in our community. So I was asking my fellow elders, how do we solve this? Recently, we had this issue of a funeral industry. The funeral has now become an industry in the Luo community. And we are all aware that in the 60s or even in the 50s or even in the 40s, we had Luos who would work up to Mombasa, and anybody coming from Migori and working in Mombasa in the 40s or in the 30s, they would walk for so many days to Kisumu to get to the railway station to Mombasa. So in the event these people died in those places, they were buried there. They were never brought home. So the issue of culture, I normally tell people that with culture, we will be able to solve so many things. We will be able to solve economic issues. We'll be able to solve political issues. We'll be able to solve agricultural issues. And the main thing that I've been advocating among the elders is that where did we go wrong from the beginning? Because as we are speaking now, the main culture of the community is politics. It's nothing else but politics. We dream politics from January to December, from election to election. Immediately election is conducted, we start politicking throughout. And then now we have forgotten our culture. The issue of herbal medicine, we have introduced it among our fellow elders. We call it indigenous medicine, the Luo indigenous medicine. We find we had medicinal plants among our community. And the medicinal plant, maybe you find them, go to a market called Kibuye in Kisumu, you find them there. You go to Jubilee Market, you find them there being sold. Unfortunately, we don't have any plan for conservation. In this very important plants like Ugongo, like Yago, which are medicinal, very medicinal. Uber. You go to our community, they are all reduced to charcoal. These plants are not there. The other time, people were going to Tanzania to drink uchuoga. And we have uchuoga around the year, which we know is one of a great antibiotic. We have all this. These are great antibiotics. So if we can turn around things and start embracing our culture, our food, our language, our medicine that I'm talking about, our religion, then we will go somewhere. You go to any event in the Luo community right now, go to any event, any national day, you define the Subas who just discovered their language, discovered themselves just the other day. They would be praying their indigenous prayer. go to such occasion in Luo land in Kisumu, you'll only find a Muslim and a Christian praying. You will never find a Luo praying. The indigenous Luo prayer, the prayer that our ancestors prayed before the coming of Christianity or Islam. So this is my submission, and going forward, I'm with you, and I would want us to work together towards achieving these things. If we could be organizing cultural events, at least we will start turning the community from the politician. Because what they hear now, if you don't have any political goodwill among the community, even if you are introducing a very nice thing, the community will never listen to you. They would want to listen to the politician. Thank you very much.
You're muted, Dr. Makadwal.
Yes, I was saying Ochuga is a very important medicinal plant. Yeninya bende, ngamuke yeninya bende. Yeninya bende is the one which adds people to be so bright. And Olure Matiyo Kode Chame. So what we are saying is that there are a lot of trees, there are a lot of plants in Luo land, which we need we shall design the project partnership with Mr. Lloyd, with Lona, with Alice, Lisa, with the rest, so that we come up with a processing alternative medicinal factory in Nyanza, in one of our historical heritage site. I had the one mentioned the researcher mentioned God Osborne, mentioned Gormaya. Gormaya, actually, we are coming up with the project plans that we are going to have five-star hotels. We have talked with the grandson of Gormaya, and he has agreed in our meetings here that they will provide Gormaya land so that Luo community and Luo and the county governments of Homa Bay and the national government of Kenya, we build five-star hotels, hospital to treat people, stadium for play, so that youths get training place for football, for music, for filming, for taekwondo, for boxing. The Luos were the best players in boxing, actually. Boxing is an industry in the world. And Luos are like Chinese. They are the best taekwondos guys that we can, unearth these talents in our youths so that they become the best world taekwondo people, the best world boxers people, and films. Let me tell you, guys, Africans have the best tasty films for the world. Let us come up. Mr. Lloyd, let us come up and set a film station with the LUCODE in Kenya so that you'll get a lot of marketing and a lot of demand. Madam Christine, you have been in another meeting. Can you please, we want to hear your voice.
I actually started off, I started off when you're not there. I think let's just give every other person the opportunity to say what they have, because I had already said what I had.
Florence have not talked. We don't know whether she's there, Madam Florence.
Yeah, because what we are discussing is very, very important. And what we can do as individuals to push forward these initiatives that we're talking about is also very, very important. Because we are not discussing this, we're not saying this for somebody else to do, but for us to do. Yeah, it has to start with me. It has to start with you. So as much as we are discussing, as much as we are saying we want to bring back what we had lost, to restart afresh, to regenerate, and so on and so forth, what am I doing as an individual? Because we have to start by showing the example that what we are proposing is doable. So get out there and start doing things, start meeting people, start collecting these things that we are talking about. Collect the stories, collect the songs. Use your phone, interview people. Let us have presentations here on Sunday that this week I met this group of people. I met this old man who gave me this story about our culture. And here, let us all listen. I mean, let us go out and do something practical. Because as I started, I said, we are not just talking for the sake of it, because we have to involve the head, the heart, and the hands. And I persistently talked about having a result. And having a result, you don't just have it without doing something. Yes, Leo, your hand is up. I know you have been charged. Do you want to say something? Go ahead.
Well, I was just reminded of what I was actually thinking of when I wanted to talk about that Winelto Sound and Story Network, because it was about that time when Lisa Anise came onto the call, and she reminded me that that network, that concept came up as a result of interactions with a hip hop practitioner who's now in Europe, in Spain, but they are a refugee originally from Afghanistan. And I had some conversations with them about the work that they were actually doing. And that actually led to this whole concept of we need to listen to each other, because that was actually his project, going around to different communities, recording those stories. And when you said about using your phone to record stories of people, that was actually another conversation we had recently as well, within our network of practitioners, in particular through the BIPOCA Alliance that I mentioned yesterday, this Black, Indigenous, People of Color and Allies network. And they mentioned that the importance of just using the voice recording on your cell phone, to as you're talking to people, to record what they're saying, and have that record of what they said. And I was just thinking about yesterday, and going to that park in London, and some of the conversations I had, but in particular, one gentleman I met as I was walking in from the parking lot. He was there with his wife, and they were picking berries off of one of the trees in the park that was bearing fruit. And it was a mulberry bush, or a mulberry tree. And there were mulberries growing on it, and they were just there in the park picking these wild growing mulberries off the tree. And I asked him what are those fruit, because I hadn't seen that before. And he went to his cell phone, and he spoke into his cell phone so he could get it translated into English. He was from Ukraine, Ukrainian refugee as well. And he told me a little bit in his broken English about how he's been here in Canada for about 2 years now. He's an electrician. He had been working in Europe, in Ukraine, and now he's here, but he can't get a job. And so I walked away from that conversation. I didn't record what he actually said, but I remember it. But then I went to talk to Christine, Dr. Owinyi, about possibly working with the people of Canada who are themselves coming here as refugees. And of course, we had a lot of Ukrainian refugees, and I suggested to her that the Luo community might be able to work with the Ukrainian community and other refugee communities that have come to Canada to do this cultural preservation work through the Wanalto project. So not just engaging Indigenous peoples, but people from all around the world, and collecting and collating their stories as well. So that was the thinking in my mind as you were just talking there, Christine. Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful. Dr. Rose, time is we are almost ending. Dr. Rose, you can have a word with us, please. This is a communicating platform. Dr. Rose.
Thank you. My apology. I got in quite late when you people had discussed a lot. So my apology there. But at least getting that you are currently discussing alternative medicine, especially from our end, from the Luo community. And I think this is a very, very good idea. I know for some time, Kenyatta University had, I don't know if it was an institute or something, where they were collecting a lot of alternative medicine. But I'm glad as a person that I know a few of alternative medicine, and we could find more. And recently, even my brother was very unwell with the throat cancer. So, and he got into alternative medicine, and there's some improvement. So really, this alternative medicine worked very well. And I'm so grateful that this is part of this discussion this evening. And we are all excited and willing to participate in it. May I also take time to introduce myself, because I was not there at the beginning. But okay, I'm from Suba community, but quite assimilated with the Luo people. So we are basically Luos. And I teach at a university, though I teach management, but that's what I am. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone.
Most welcome, Dr. We are willing and we are hoping we shall be working with your university, because we are going collaboration and partnership with the universities now into medicine and cultural consumption. Missionary Joshua, please. Missionary Joshua, let us not block you.
Oh, thank you so much. I came a little bit late. I wasn't able to get much of the content of what people have been discussing, but on one highlight of comments, I've been able to know about the discussion has been on something like culture concept. Based on the reality of what is discussed here, as you dream to run a concept in African community, I can also be able to talk to Uganda Museum Center and then coordinate whatever you intend to do in Uganda at a very cheaper cost. So that we have the initiative reach out to our grassroots, so that Africans, we are able to identify our origin. I think I'm so pleased to the guest speaker and then the rest of people who have been here. Hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.
Oh, wonderful. We are from Uganda. We are your descendants. So don't worry. Yeah.
Okay.
Lubna, you are the word. Lubna Dajani, you are the word. Lubna, speak to us.
What about?
You had a word to say Lloyd mentioned something. You wanted to respond.
I'm not sure what Lloyd, what did you say that I need to respond to? But I'm so happy to see Joshua, the minister, here. To see you all. Lloyd, was there something I needed to respond to specific?
Not really. I mean, I had just mentioned the story of connecting with this refugee from Ukraine. And so I think that's another aspect to the potential for having these conversations. I think around that proposal, the Winelto project, just to consider.
Yeah, my background, I'm not Ukrainian.
No, nothing to do with that. It's just that there are many
I do represent
refugees.
Another indigenous group, and I do represent a refugee population.
Well, this is what I'm thinking as well, because we are actually, through Unity Net, we're connected to many refugee communities. And Lisa Nice on our call can also tell you that we're working with refugees throughout Africa, in many refugee camps across the continent.
Yeah, I'm so grateful to be here. You have no idea. This is like probably one of the most useful and effective calls, that it's very encouraging for me, because we do a lot of talking and not as much. I mean, so my background, by the way, I don't know if you can tell from my name. Say that again, I'm sorry.
Carried his hand.
Come back once again. At least I've got the content. Let us finished.
Okay, fine. Proceed, Libna.
No, I was just saying I don't know if you know my background, but my ethnic background, my mother is from Egypt.
Oh, really?
Yes. My niece has done her DNA test. It seems that we're more Egyptian than we are Palestinian. At least my mother's side is Egyptian. My father's side is Palestinian. And the Johnny name, if you look it up, goes way past all the way to the Abrahamic era. So yeah, it's I'm a world peace lover.
A real world citizen.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, I think all acts of war are criminal, and anyway, I'm very ready to come and support this effort together. All, it's critical time, I think, and hopefully our technology will help us reset our priorities and take because this is it's truly our last chance. Never mind the biblical stories, because they all have described, I don't care which one you follow. I think they all roads lead to Rome, or to collective consciousness.
End times, as is often called.
Yes.
Oh, my goodness. I just wanted to show my face, because here this next fall, I will begin to be traveling and discussing what UnityNet is about, along the course of my work with CID UNESCO. So the two are going to be starting to get combined, because of course, CID UNESCO, that's the International Dance Council.
Yes,
okay. I'm a registered judge with a number of world organizations, which means that I can also work with them to get who a lot of refugees are. The brightest, the most intellectual, the people who others looked up to in their communities. Those are always the first ones who seem to be tossed for whatever reason. Their influence, I imagine. But moving that forward, it should afford me ability to be able to reach out quite a bit further through some of the partners we've been gathering along. So that's starting this fall in October. I'll be going into Northern Europe, winding up in Poland, for what's a world competition in dance, but there's going to be a lot of other people there that I'll be talking to as well. And it's all pursuant to what UnityNet is about. So just wanted to put that out there for you. Go ahead.
I wanted to point out that part of what Lisa Anise is doing in her job is essentially to restore cultural education back into the school systems around the world in all local communities.
Please count me in supporting your efforts. I mean, we must compete to complete each other's work.
Well, my WhatsApp contact is in the chat.
Yeah, I texted you and I sent you a LinkedIn.
Ah, okay. Sounds good. I'll get to it.
Ambassador Christine, you can take over. Ambassador Christine, you can take over.
Missionary Joshua's hand is up. Let's give him the opportunity to say something.
Okay, at first I didn't have the content, but I have got the content about missionary work to support refugees. I think this is my field, which I have served for 15 years. When you talked about refugee, one of the content why I'm in this kind of a house is because I've come to donate even Bible to refugees. I have been donating Bible to refugees in all the East African countries where I have donated well over 1.2 million Bibles due to the number of refugees committing suicide due to traumatized mindset. One time I also developed a conference and gave it to UNHCR and told them the issue of you sending medical doctors to handle mindset of the idea into refugees may not sometimes overwork because refugees who are being traumatized, sometimes the medical counseling may not work. It may only happen well with spiritual approach. So I donated Bible to refugees closely coming to 15 years. But I came to realize one thing, that Bible is the word of God. The word of God cannot sustain the stomach. So that you can pray and then still have the empty stomach. So the idea forward is, when you pray, you need to also have some sustainable development. I came to realize there are so many refugees that are suffering traumas, and yet they have the potential to do something. So 2025, we have developed a concept of gospel with development, where we need to send them the Bible, have them be trained into some skill developments that can make them sustain themselves for long, because we are living a world of where peace, sometimes I don't know how the people are seeing it, but some people see like war is the major tool to make money. They create conflict by themselves, even within their countries, creating a lot of lives to go in suffering. So in summary and conclusion, in African communities, I am able to coordinate missionary ideas or any developmental concept for missionaries to all the African communities, because I've almost sent Bible to all those communities. I have even the ready concept. In case there's that provision, I can be able to give you a new design concept for refugees communities. Right now, as I talk, I'm in West Nile region, the border of DRC Congo, the border of South Sudan, where the refugee from Congo migrated because of Congolese war, and then the refugee who migrated because of South Sudanese war. They are based up. We came in to have a sensitization. We are registering some of their children to look for sponsors that can educate their children, so that even if they are displaced from their country, at least they should also be obtaining educational growth. Thank you.
Thank you very much, missionary. And now time is not on our side. Thank you, everyone who participated. Thank you for your contributions. I want to challenge each one of us now as we go home or we continue with our daily activities. Let's put in mind what we have been sharing. And so my colleagues, friends, elders, partners, new entrants into our dialogue. As we close today's gathering, I want to honor each one of you for showing up, and not just because you were there. I believe you were there, not to be seen, but you were there with your spirit, resonating with what you shared. You shared your contributions, your questions, and your commitment. What we have shared today goes far beyond this Zoom meeting. It is the beginning of a new chapter, a chapter where biodiversity, ecocultural heritage, regenerative infrastructure, peace, and ecological preservation are beyond ideas. But we are now moving into doing things. As my friend and colleague Leod was addressing us, you could clearly see that we are geared. We want to get on and start doing things. By actions, we are ready to co-design and carry forward. Today, we have remembered that our heritage is more than history. It is the blueprint of our future. We have heard that our biodiversity is more than nature. It is our health, it is our wealth, and our children's inheritance. We have learned that regenerative infrastructure is more than bricks and stones. It is a system of values, of relationships, and shared responsibilities. Together, we have proven that distance cannot separate us and borders cannot divide us. When we call ourselves ambassadors of our culture, we want to protect and regenerate what we have. And this is really very, very strong. And so as we move forward, let us remain grounded in respect for our ancestors and their wisdom. I liked the fact that Leod started by honoring the land. That is what we do here in Canada. Remembering that the land we are using, the space we are using, didn't just happen. There were people who started it off, and we have to appreciate their initiatives. Responsibility for our communities and their well-being, renewed hope for a world in which heritage and harmony go hand in hand. Let this conversation continue in our work daily, our projects, our alliances, and our hearts. Let us keep the fire burning to protect, to preserve, and to prosper. Thank you once again to all our participants, especially our new visitors who joined us today. Leod, we really appreciate you so much. Ambassador Philosopher McDowell, thank you so much for this initiative. May the seeds that we are planting today grow into forests of peace, fields of resilience, and gardens of hope for everyone. Until we meet again, I want to request that we stay blessed, stay united, and stay determined. So we have these webinars every Sunday before we have our main webinar in the next, is it 15 minutes? So if you want to stay on, please stay on, because we also have a great presenter coming on when we are talking about the Global Alliance for Sustainability in Education under Education for Sustainable Development. So if this community wants to learn from what others are doing, you are welcome to join the next meeting. If possible, don't even leave the room. Just stay on, and we will be able to move on to the next one, and we continue learning, because learning never ends. May I request one of the leaders to say a word of prayer? Amimo, can you please say a word of prayer? If possible, you can even pray in Dolu.
Allow me to pray.
Yeah.
Okay. I hope you are getting me and clear, Ambassador.
Yeah, you're clear.
Yes, allow me to pray. You have requested that I can pray in the Luo, but I meant about our brothers and sisters in who might not be conversant with the Luo language, or can I just proceed on?
Okay, continue. Just pray whichever language you're free to pray.
Just pray in the Luo because I'm a Luo, I'm a proud to be a Luo. Okay.
Okay.
Walemo, nyasachwa kuonwa erokamano, erokamano, tamari maber, miserito wagodo, erokamano Jehova Nyasaye, nikech ng'wono makare moseumowa nyaka koro wachopo sani. Wan e bura kendo wan e puonjruok Jehova. Duto te mwapuonjore Nyasaye, wakwayo ni mondo koro imiwa teko kod ng'wono mar ketogi e tim. Nikech iwacho e muma ni wach maonge tim en gima tho. Waketo tim to ng'iso ni wadhi chopo kamoro. Jowadwa ma wan godo kaendi, waketogi e ng'wononi. Jowadwa mabiro jiwore kodwa, waketogi e ng'wononi. Moloyo to umwa, ritwa, utewa, tijewa, kaachiel kod kuondewa mwawuothe. Akawo kata mana session mabiro ma bang' maendi be aketo e lweti. Iritwa kendo imirwa kanyakla, to mana kuom yie e nying Ruoth Yesus Kristus.
Thank you. And God bless you.
Amen.
So,
Amen.
yeah, because we are using the same
Amen.
link for the
Amen.
next meeting, I'm not going to